Hello and welcome to the Pritchard Pub. Tonight we got a special guest, Mr. Richard from Iron Age Media. How's it going, Richard?
Going great. Good to talk to you.
Awesome. Finally, we got you on. It's kind of long overdue, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But yeah, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself for the fine people who don't know who you are. And
okay. Well, my name's Richard. I run IronAge.media as well as Anvil Magazine and a music project alongside Jake Colta called Tempered Records, which might both Anvil Magazine and Tempered Records might be featuring a certain someone else on this stream. Maybe two someone else's here before too long. But yeah, it's just a collection of I kind of aggregate indie media of all sorts of different mediums, and Anvil is short fiction and comics and art, and yeah, so just kind of do a little bit of everything these days.
Well, hell yeah. Like you said, somebody else that's currently on the stream. I know I joined in and did some music with you, and I got a comic on the way. So
yeah, issue number 3. That comic will be comic preview will be out here very soon. And yeah, I was gonna say this proof is too dark is the problem right now, but and I was hoping they'd be able to get I was hoping they'd be able to get the next proof out to get approved here today, but that ended up not I didn't get a chance to go pick it up today because it was not ready until pretty late, and here in Houston you don't want to be going out, but we got a Saga of Sunsets. It looks awesome on the page for sure.
Ooh. I'm really excited for that. Yeah. I know I printed some of the early sketches and stuff in the inks just to look at. It's on my fridge right now still, and I just look at it every time I get some milk or something.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, as you said, somebody else may be joining us. There's a rumor of ChillKid stopping by. He was also a part of the music project with us.
Yes, First Strike right here, and it's just been repeating on my CD player on my truck as I go to and from work now. The ruined speaker system is I mean it just keeps getting worse, but it's like, you know, that truck is a beater, so but yeah, I've brought it home and put it on. It sounds nice on a proper setup. It's just, you know, I used to have like a nice sound system in my I used to drive like a Chevy Cobalt, and that one, the previous owner had put all this stuff into it. Now I didn't care about any of that at the time, but since then I've always kind of missed whenever I sold that car, and I sort of miss it since then. You know, sometimes you just want to deafen yourself a little bit and like really let the bass go.
I know on some of the beaters I've owned in the past, I'll just like dump if it has an equalizer on the stereo. I'll just dump all the bass and mids and crank all the treble. Just, you know, the technical reason it can technically get louder.
Yes, exactly.
That's the only reason. So we'll say hi to the chat really quick. We got Horizon Talker. Hail. How's it going? And we got Tim Allen. Hail King Richard. Yeah. Hail Tim Allen. Pour a glass of mead for us. And JVP Music. Be nice to your truck.
Another talented individual.
Yes. And a familiar face. Another member of the project that we mentioned.
Yes.
ChillKid. Tempered Records, I should say. Tempered Records.
Well, yeah. First Strike was the EP name, and I'm excited to get the second one rolling. It's taken a little bit longer than I'd hoped, but it was you know, Jake kind of was like, "Well, let's get the first one out the door and to everyone, and then we'll worry about the second one." I was like, you know, that's a good policy. So
yeah, get it fully finished first, and then, you know, if whatever momentum picks up along the way is what it is or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So
we got Horizon Talker. He says first time catching one of these. Well, thanks for coming, buddy. And oh, unfortunately, Tim Allen's out of Maid. But yeah, anyway.
Oh no.
Yeah, getting it out to everybody and then moving on to the next one is probably a pretty solid idea, you know.
Mm-hmm. Hold on just 1 second. I need to talk to my wife about my child who is not listening to the instructions I gave her.
You have at it, brother. You have at it. Oops. So we got Tim Allen. What are you saying over here, buddy? When the copies of First Strike getting shipped out? Ooh, he will answer that when he comes back.
All right.
Yeah.
So First Strike will be getting shipped out here in like this week. I'm kind of waiting to get I was waiting to get Anvil in, but I could actually get started on First Strike because most people ordered a combo of Anvil and First Strike, but there are a few people who just ordered First Strike CDs. So those will be going out this week for sure. If you only ordered First Strike, and then the streaming stuff, I need to ask some questions to Jake to make sure that I'm getting everything correct. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's fairly straightforward. The music's already on some of the distribution systems there, and then I'm trying to think of the other stuff like the what was it? I think it was a 10x10 poster. Yeah. That I will be getting done through the print shop, so it's going to come in with the same order of everything else with Anvil. So if you just got just the CD, it'll be going out this week for sure. If you got more than that, it might be something closer to the 26th. So I'll be taking that day off anyway, and so I might be trying to do that. So regardless, I should have everything no later than Friday, unless I've had a miscommunication with my printer, which in the past this has happened, but this guy's been real good, so I'm not too concerned.
Yeah. I mean, you can't plan. I mean, you could plan for like the worst, and it's like planning for the worst.
And I tried to not plan for the worst on this one,
right?
And then some of it was my fault. Some of it was like some things just some silly contract stuff with like disc makers where they offered me a rate. I was like, yeah, I'll take that rate, but it was like you now have like the absolute bottom tier. We don't guarantee any delivery dates, and I didn't realize that at the time. They still gave me a delivery date, but then they were like, "Oh yeah, we're not going to honor that."
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh dude, I've ran into that in the past with my music, with a few like printers and stuff. Actually, it's
it's very frustrating. But at the time, at the end of the day, it's like I'm a tiny little, pebble in the pond here. So, no matter how much noise I try to make, it's not going to make a big splash. So
yeah. Well, maybe some other pebbles are being affected.
Yeah, that's probably true, and I think that there is one of the problems. I think right now is the whole Chinese New Year. I think a bunch of stuff got pushed up before, and then they have like that 2-week period where they have various celebrations, and a lot of things shut down in China to some degree, and so I think that might have impacted it because 100% those discs were not made in the States. So.
Yeah.
I wish they could have been, but it is what it is.
And that would backpedal it too, for sure. If they have like, think about like our Memorial Day, Labor Day, President's Day, all that stuff.
Yeah, I ordered something from China in like, I think it was like January 2nd, and initially the ship date, the delivery date was like, this is something that was off the shelf, ready to go. And it was like, oh, it'll be here by the 12th. Okay, cool. All right, that sounds good. And it was like the 16th, and then it just kept going and going. And then it was like March 3rd, and I was like, oh boy, okay.
That escalated.
Yeah. Oh, great. So.
Yeah. Well, all that aside, how's the experience been? I saw your did you just open submissions for number 5?
Yeah, so issue number 5 is ongoing. Right now, I'm trying to hammer down the art on issue number 4. I kind of got sidetracked with getting some of the details of issue number 3 hammered out because there was a few little things that I was like, I'm going to make issue number 3, like I want it to be better than issue number 2 in terms of the polish on the formatting and everything else. And I kept catching issues here and there. But issue number 4, the art is uh, underway for most of the submissions, or most not submissions, but most of the selected stories. And issue number 5, the submissions are rolling in. I've been reading those, and let me tell you what I think. Just between everybody here, I think that
Yeah.
winter must be a depressing time to be an author, or just in general, because man, there's some depressing stories. I read one today where I was like, "Oh man, this is good." It's not going in Anvil because it was not. I mean, it was just not it didn't suit it, but it was extremely well done. You know what I mean? But I was like, Jesus, this is depressing as hell. Not that I'm opposed to depressing stuff occasionally making it in, but it was not thematically. It wouldn't have fit thematically either. So
there's a density level. There's a threshold.
Yeah, exactly.
Hail to.
I hate to do that. Push things. I was like, I hate pushing stuff back. It is what it is.
Yeah. Hail Irish Poppy. That's Adrian Peterson. He's the voice actor that did the narration for the audiobook I just put up on the Pritchard Pub
awesome.
Substack. Yeah,
Very
that's
cool.
yeah, he did a great job. The dude has like such a deep voice naturally, and then he like does great Scottish and Irish accents. I think having him doing a Scottish accent with Royce doing an Irish accent on the same Spirit Animals episode would be pretty sweet, actually. Not gonna lie. Just having them going back and forth actually would be pretty ridiculous.
That would be cool.
JVP says, "Hey, Irish." But yeah, so the quality of the submissions, you said it's a dark time. What do you mean?
I mean, there's some good ones, but there's just this guy, this guy's got cancer, and
yeah.
Like, okay, and then another guy, it's like, my wife's dead, and it's like, okay, man, my wife's dying, okay, my family's dead, it's like I get it. They're not that they can't be good stories, but I am noticing a trend on some of these where I'm like, all right, guys, you need to it's okay. Just
get some sunlight.
Go outside.
Get some sunlight.
Put on a tank top, something. Just get some light on you.
Get a dopamine burst. Go play some video games. Yeah. Work out. I don't know what
It
seems like the solution to everything is always lifting weights and working out.
Yeah, it is pretty much. Yeah. I need to do more of that myself. I'm like,
I never do it. Like I'm gonna do some push-ups now, and like nope, it never happens. It doesn't.
Yeah, I was doing okay there for a little bit, and then the holidays hit, and I was like, I'm gonna get back on the horse in January, and January was just like everything, whether it was exercise or work or whatever else, everything was just like this jumble in January.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden February is almost over. I'm like, oh Lord.
Yeah, it's like the momentum just kept it going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But
once everybody was switched on, they just kept going.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm excited. Once I get issue number 3 out the door, then I'll be able to really start moving on issue number 4, and the campaigns for that are probably going to launch on like March 11th. Everybody should have issue number 3 well before that, and I'm also going to be kind of trying something new after hearing from some people, because right now I have like annual subscriptions for things, and those have like a lot of extra goodies. But I'm also gonna start offering monthly subscription options where it's like, okay, you're gonna pay like, I think about $14 a month, and every 3 months I'll send you a copy of Anvil. So whatever the latest copy is. So then it's a little bit easier for people to budget for it, and there's going to be like no frills. You just get just the magazine, and if you want the digital one, I'll have a cheaper one there. but I'm just trying to respond to some of the things that I had questions about. Go from there.
Kind of work it out. Yeah, because that is like the thing. I noticed one of the most common questions is, hey, you got overflow, or you need more, or you got more, or whatever, or you know what I mean? Like, some people are late to the party. They get so fascinated by it and they get into it that they want to like go grab the first copy. I mean, I know I was the same way. The first thing I did when I jumped on Twitter, I went and like literally one of the first things I went and like DM'd Shad and Brooks when I had some money, and I was like, hey, I want to buy your book. And I didn't even understand that he was like crowdfunding it still at the time and stuff like that. And it was
really?
closed. Yeah, it was like just after it had closed. But our other guest has arrived. Welcome, ChillKid. Not so
Hello.
ChillKid. I like it. I like it.
It's been one of those days.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
It's good to see you guys.
Yeah, good to see you too, man. Yeah. How was your day other than the not so chill parts? The good parts of it.
I got some good sleep today. That's a change. I think I got like 4 or 5 whole hours of sleep. So
what's up?
How about you guys? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I've just been like, it's been kind of more of a promotional day for me, but I couldn't help but still get some audio mastered from one of the more recent episodes of Pritchard Pub. I'm finally catching up with my podcast and distributing the mastered audio.
Right on, man.
And I'm just dreading having to go through all like 20 episodes now. Congrats on this is the 20th episode, and
wow,
you guys have been taking off, man.
Very special guests indeed for the 20th. I'm proud to have you guys on. Thanks for coming. But yeah, I'm dreading going through all 20 of them now, or however many it is whenever we get around to it, and just like distributing them to like Spotify and like literally everywhere, iTunes, and because I'm gonna have to like type everything out again, re-upload the art.
Well, you know what? Don't get weary in the hunt, man. You're clearly onto something, because I got 2 episodes into mine, and I was like, I can't even get this done. This is not something I'm gonna do sustained. So 20 episodes, that's awesome, dude.
Dude, that's why there's whole teams. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it, because it's like if you're doing like a podcast, let's say every 3rd day, right? I'm not even gonna say every other day, every 3rd day. Well, each of those needs like a thumbnail, and if you want like, I mean, I reuse a lot of I reuse the background, but I make custom thumbnails for each one. And even if it's a returning guest, I'll try to like put you guys in a different spot or do something else clever with it. But like, yeah, if you want like a super high quality, that's like each of those, that's a different thumbnail art for each one. And then you got to go through and like rip the audio, master it, edit the video. If you want that edited video to have edited audio, then you do all the editing of the video first, then rip the audio. So you can just, and it just becomes a lot. Then you got to distribute all of it, write out all the descriptions and hashtags. And it's like, I'm a writer. What am I doing?
Well, it's a lot of little stuff that adds up. You know what I mean? A lot of small individual tasks and skills and things like that. And it's like, it's the joke is like everybody has a podcast these days, but it's like, it takes a like concerted effort to keep it going. So yeah, kudos.
It does. Yeah, you got to carry it.
It kind of reminds me of when I used to organize my music on my computer and really meticulously get the album covers and the all the names right, the years right, featured artists, and like I used to spend literally days on end organizing MP3 files, and now I can't even imagine doing anything even remotely that meticulous.
Yeah, dude.
But when you got that energy, go for it. Use it.
Just keeping track of all the clips and stuff that pop up that I end up using, and like the videos. Like I'm like, I used to think it was ridiculous when like a computer has a terabyte of data on it. I used to think that was ridiculous. I used to, but videos have kind of become very much like Word documents these days. It seems like, at the very least, images. So, yeah.
Well,
speaking of videos,
though, man.
Oh, thanks, man, and good for you. How is Try Hard doing? Your album that you just recently released.
Honestly, because of all of you guys, it opened better than any album I've ever released.
No,
I mean,
awesome.
so like,
dude.
I mean, it had double numbers before the end of the year of what it normally has. So we were all into the triple digits, which for me, I'm very thankful for, because I'm used to, I was writing a song a while back called Zeros.
Yeah.
And it was like how there was basically zeros on everything. I'd have songs that had been up for years with 0 plays, you know?
Mhm.
Oh,
And
it's
then,
like the opposite of digits. I like it.
Yep,
I
exactly.
like it.
I'm
Yeah,
doing numbers. Of course, all the numbers are very, very round.
Look at all these zeros. That means you're
But you guys
hustling.
have been so gracious and so kind, and checking out the music. And these days there's such a swarm of media to consume that it's really tough to like focus in on someone. Like when I was younger, I learned everything I could about like the Ramones. You know, or I'd have my favorite bands and I'd know everything about them. But there's so much now that it's hard. I understand that. So
Well,
Dude, same.
it's hard to narrow it down, like you were saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's, you know, that's really the thing that I think is the crux of things, is how are we going to, you know, help consumers figure out what it is that they want to focus in on.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
even
that's
thinking about
awesome.
my YouTube habits, I've got you know, the watch later list. Well,
Yeah.
you can
Handy
only
as
fit 5,000 videos into one
Oh my
playlist on
gosh.
YouTube.
Yeah.
So
Found that out.
I misspelled it once. I said whatever later to make a second one instead of watch later. So it just kind of became an inside joke for me. But I'm on whatever later list 7 now.
Oh my
And,
gosh.
There
you
you
know,
go.
after years of going, I need to watch that later and adding it to a list. And there's just so much out there. So I'm starting to really feel for the people I ask. They'll hit the like button, but they don't have time to listen. You know?
You know that actually reminds me of when I was spending I spent like half a year researching, and then continued doing that into the year I spent writing my novel during my both the pregnancies. And
By the
I
way,
was
you're looking
totally
great. Your form is back down to normal after those pregnancies. So
thanks, man.
good job.
I'm still working out the stretch marks. The coconut oil does wonders, you know.
Shea butter. I heard shea butter does help with that.
Shea, I'll have to try the shea. I've heard
There
good
you
things
go.
about the shea too. But yeah, it's good for my skin's coming. It's bouncing back, springy like it used to be. But anyway, so it reminds me of when I would like just work long hours, and I was like full into just like listening to podcasts and stuff, and audiobooks, and just like what you said, just that like that watch later, and or like make a new playlist and just add it to the playlist quick and move on, or like that was really informative, or like I'm gonna save this video for when I'm actually editing this video kind of thing, or like the song so I can reference it. Like referencing, that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to get to is
yeah, that's a good.
rather
That was one of the problems I was having with my podcast idea. Is I'd hear something in a video and I could come up with 5 or 10 minutes worth of dialogue about it, but like cataloging that somehow. John C. Maxwell has a lot of good information on how to do that. I've just not been able to implement it very well, but how to remember all the stuff that I needed to talk about. You know, I've got notes on top of notes, but referencing it, like you said, is you got to have a system or you're going to get lost in the sauce.
Yeah, it's hilarious. We just moved, and I discovered all my old notes from that year. I don't even know what to refer to that year in my life, because it was like pandemic, pregnancy, complicated pregnancy.
The gauntlet. Just call it
the
gauntlet.
The gauntlet year, yes. So I found all my old notes, and it's literally just like random scratch paper from a warehouse that I'm going to grab this and just write this line that doesn't make sense out of context. But like of course, a few years later, like I look at that note and that weird line out of context. I'm like, I know what I mean by that. I know what I mean by that.
I have a note file on my phone that it's my throw everything in here notes, you know, if I just happen to think of something real quick. And I was reading those off to Dan Riley, because we were talking about a book idea, and I was like, here's my note file. And it was like all these random phrases that just sounded like I'm a schizophrenic or something, like the kind of stuff you would scroll on the wall in your cell.
Exactly.
You know?
Those notes.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I regret kind of like succumbing to my temptations and just filling my watch later playlists with entertainment eventually, because eventually I ran out of things I needed to research, and I finished up the book, and it was all winding down, and it became more and more entertainment and podcast and you know what I mean.
Oh,
And
that's
yeah,
a good
yeah.
point.
So yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of need
So
to change the name of some of them to Rage Later, because it's just like this is stuff I'm angry about that I want to talk about, and then none of it's fun, so I
exactly.
never want to go back to it.
But that's the thing a lot of people don't talk about YouTube with, especially like creatives, is you can create these and you can keep them private. They can be private playlists, and you can do important things like, okay, for instance, I have a playlist I toss on when I leave for the dogs to listen to. Sometimes it's literally Richard from Iron Age Media in his interviews. Sometimes it's music. Sometimes it's like flying over
smart ass dogs.
well, I want them to like hear people talking. And I don't know. Sometimes
that's
I
a
leave.
nice soothing voice. I like it.
Yeah, and
Hi,
good
Richard.
I try.
good political opinions too. So I mean, my dogs are they probably got opinions on like art and music and guns, and
There you
They're
go.
going to be starting companies and projects.
yeah. They're doing startups. They're planning startups while
There
we're
you
out.
go.
Yeah.
At this point in time, I don't know if it would be even that bad to have dogs doing investment advice. It seems like everybody else does. So, you know, as long as they can hold up a little sign that says "not financial advice" right before they give it, there you go.
Exactly.
You're in the clear.
They're really getting their paws into whatever they can, so that's good.
Exactly.
Out.
If those extreme like religious people at Warp Tour can follow Warp Tour around and hand out those little pamphlets about I don't even know, man. I would thumb through it and it didn't even make sense to me, but they just like are handing pamphlets out to kids at a music festival. If they can do that, then I'm sure the dogs can. I mean,
there you
figure
go.
something out. They figure something out with their financial
to get them
advice.
some thumbs, but I'm sure you can get those on Amazon. Some sort of prosthetic thumb for dogs.
I mean, you've seen how they're going with robotics at this point. You know, you just get them a little arm, a little back-mounted arm.
That's what I was gonna actually bring up when we mentioned videos, is the AI video shit that just got released. And also on the subject of robot dogs, Rick and Morty predicted that, but I think Rick and Morty was inspired in doing satire off of other robot dog stuff. But if I remember right, like the inspiration for that robot dog episode from season 1 was actually I think Justin Roiland has a dog. And that was the main thing. They just wanted to give their dog a personality. And I mean, what better way than to have them take over the world? I feel we were just talking about the dogs doing startups and stuff. So
yes,
that makes sense. Bat Sauce in the chat.
Hey.
What up? And hail
Howdy.
Paladin Dragoon as well. Hail.
Yeah, another Anvil alumni. So
yes. I recently read Paladin Dragoon's upcoming story and wrote a little
for issues 4 and 5. He'll be the first actual in issue number 1. I'd planned on splitting him up between 1 and 2, and then I decided to pull everything in just into issue number 1 because I got concerned about the page count. I don't think I actually needed it, but it worked out better.
Yeah.
And but yeah, we definitely have to split up this one because it's like 17,000 words, and that's it's quite a bit. That's like almost a quarter of an issue. So it would have been a little bit too much for one. It split nicely.
He's like, oh yeah, here, you want to read this? I'm like, yeah, sure. He's like, it's gonna be appearing in Anvil. I'm like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, let me check this out. Go to check it out. 42 pages. Okay, yeah, quick read. He hits me up the next day. He's like, oh, did you finish reading it? I'm like, I started reading it.
Yeah.
I got like 20 pages left at least. But
yeah,
hey, it was a good read though. I enjoyed it, man. He's got a nice vibrant world there and some good characters. And my favorite thing was he has very unique dragons. I picked up on some of the inspirations he drew from with those.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit more so I can understand what you mean by unique dragons?
Oh yeah. So some of the art he's shared actually depicts it. They're like, yeah.
I'm trying to imagine these dragons, but
so are you familiar with Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah.
Okay, you know Shenron from Dragon Ball Z?
Okay, so you meant on a first name basis. No, I'm not.
No. the main dragon.
I know Goku, and then there was the guy named after a little flute.
Piccolo.
Piccolo. There we
Yeah.
go. See? And then there was Majin Buu, who looked like a gigantic baby, but was like the most powerful person ever. And that's about as far as I know by names.
Yeah.
So I'm familiar.
Shenron
Was the operative word. Sorry. Go ahead.
Shenron is the eternal dragon. He is, when you get all the Dragon Balls together, he's the namesake of the show, basically. So when you get all the Dragon Balls together, you summon Shenron and he grants you wishes, right? And when
I've just outed myself as being a total normie there. Sorry.
Well, Dragon Ball Z is total normie anime, so I'm outing
I'm
myself.
below normie. I'm just gonna go ahead and hang myself. I think I got
You're not. No, you're good, brother. It's also Eastern, so I mean, you could just say you're American. You're not normie. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, most Americans love anime these days, but that's neither here nor there. But and JVP, you're right. I know the Namek Dragon has a different name. He's also he also lifts. If you're not familiar, the Namek Dragon lifts.
So I'm feeling less and less confident about my Dragon Ball Z answer from earlier. The more you talk, so I'd love to hear more about these dragons. I apparently don't know anything other than they turn super Aryan and fly up in the air when they're going down. So that's about all.
I love it. Oh, Richard has the sauce. Here's Paladin Dragon. So you see that dragon?
Yes, I do.
See that dragon? It's super unique because of the
I like the antlers. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm.
And it actually has hands on the end of the wings. That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's some art in issue number 1. Let me see where issue number 1 is. Here we go. It does a pretty good job of that as well.
Yeah. So I guess I'm gonna have to grab some more Dragon's Balls and then start there.
You could probably
knowledge
just
base.
Jump to the movies. They're pretty dope.
There's movies?
Oh yeah.
Only thing I knew about was honestly my favorite part of the show is the freaking theme song. Like that theme song, or no, the ending credits was freaking amazing.
So the theme song is pretty freaking great because it's like Eastern trying to be super Western metal.
Oh, yeah, yep.
What is going on there? Hold on, Richard. Hold on, hold that there. There you go. What's there's another shot.
Cool
okay.
As hell. Look at that.
Look at that. Look at it.
From
super good.
Is that holding a spear?
Yeah. He'll fly around holding a spear and whatnot.
Dude, he blazes. The dragon blazes.
It's awesome.
Does he?
He blazes, dude. Yeah. So he's holding a spear. Not only that, the dragon is the priest paladin, and the paladin dude in the armor with the hammer, the little guy with the hammer is the squire. So
cool.
The big tough paladin looking guy that's human is actually the squire, and the dragon is like the boss. It's pretty sweet.
I had a fun idea. I was gonna write a kid's book with my daughter about a family that actually adopt a dragon as a pet, but they don't really acknowledge that it's like a giant dragon. So all the main characters in the book look like little cartoons. They look really like simplistic kids book cartoons, but the dragon is super detailed and like kind of menacing looking, like almost scary. But and I thought that'd be a lot of fun. And they're like at a birthday party with this really kind of intimidating dragon with like a little birthday hat on and everything. Like just like the different stuff it would be if they had a pet dragon that they didn't treat like a mythical dangerous creature.
That'd be sweet. Almost like a dog or cat. This is the dragon that lifts, by the way. This is the Namek dragon. He's swole because he lifts. That's all.
Look at that.
That's all I had that up there for.
Apparently eating knights is good protein and some iron, so that's good.
Oh
yeah. So I was going to say, it's funny that you mentioned that because this is actually an idea that I had for kind of like a anthology with to pitch to everybody, like not heavy illustrations, but some like maybe one illustration or two illustrations per story, Anvil style, but do a Iron Age like parent-child children's stories anthology, because it would be kind of cool to get parents with a little bit of writing chops converting their kids' stories into something fun.
Right,
That's something that I was like thinking about floating. I'm also thinking about trying to do like a dedicated kids issue. Maybe not a kids issue, but probably not of Anvil, but a kid friendly project that would be kind of aimed right at that, like, I don't know, second,
Well,
third grade age.
yeah, that's what I was just gonna ask, is if it would be
I
like
love it. It sounds great.
children's or like all ages, like children's or like all ages. That's what I was
Yeah, I
curious
don't
about.
know if it would
Yeah.
be. I mean, it's probably not quite to the all ages stage where the mainly due to things like sentence structure and that
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of thing. It would need to be a little bit lower reading level, I think, than what I would consider typically all ages. But
So at my reading level, perfect.
yeah, you're a natural. But
Well, I'm always coming up with weird ideas for books that I'm never gonna have time to write. So, like, if
yeah,
anybody wants to take any of these cool ideas, they're up for grabs.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I came up with a great comic book character this last week that I'm never gonna have time to do
Ooh,
ever.
that's really generous of you, because I just saw an old friend today. Won't say any names, but apparently he like went viral for a joke on the internet, on social media of all places, like years
It's
ago.
dangerous.
And some page is posting that, like, I'll give him credit. It's word for word the same joke, the same grammar, the same capitalization. It's like they copy pasted.
Yeah.
Not gonna
Yeah.
lie, but I mean, man, it's like, it's a joke. It's funny. It is. It's super funny, but like, I don't know.
All right, so are
That's
you
it.
trying to say it's like that kid who like quotes a joke from like a movie when you're a kid and like acts like they made it up, and then you're like, no, dude, that was in Clerks. So like, oh, what a coincidence!
I hope
Oh,
not.
man.
I hope not.
Great
Well,
minds.
he brought
No, we all
receipts.
saw that movie.
He did bring receipts with the
Okay.
screenshots and shit. But like, yeah. But like, yeah.
You
I've
know who
met
I'm
that
talking
person
about, right?
before.
Like
Yeah, I've met
everybody
that
knows that
person before.
kid
Yeah.
who like,
I
dude, you
met,
could just tell us that was from a comedian you saw on Comedy Central, and we'd all be fine.
I knew
Just
somebody
quote your
who,
sources. That's all you gotta do.
exactly. Oh, that's a joke from Family Guy. I love it. I had somebody who just
Except
did
for
Family Guy
SNL,
jokes
just
all the time.
free for all. Just take whatever you want from SNL. It's fine.
That's their mindset. Yeah, for sure. If you try out for us, we have the right to your content. Yeah, that's
Oh
SNL.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Brewer did an interview about that with Joe Rogan. How
Imagine
like that's why
Richard.
he left, because they kept
Richard.
stealing his bits.
Richard, your thoughts on this? How do you feel if if you owned everything that everybody submitted to you? Like, you could you make them sign a thing that says, okay, before you submit or whatever, just so you know, I can use it.
So
That
there's
doesn't
two
sound
things
very
I will
Richard
say
to me.
about that. One is, like, obviously that is not ethical, but on the flip side of that, there are, I know that there are like publishers and things that it's basically like, if we read your product, you are allowing us to do it. So it's either we reject it supposedly without reading it, or we accept it. Generally, is kind of the industry standard.
Right.
So then they don't have, not industry standard, but I've heard about stuff like this, and that's more of a liability protection because, okay, like let's take for example, the popularity. There's been a ton of discussion about Starship Troopers lately, and Helldivers is popping off and everything else.
Oh yeah.
And if I'm like, okay, I want to publish stuff, like really publish novels or something, and two people send me what are very clearly Starship Trooper, Helldiver inspired stories, and I reject one and pick the other, and I or even like I reject one because I'm like, I don't know about that one, and then somebody else comes to me with one, and I'm like, well, this one's good, but it's got a good twist on it or whatever else, right? You don't want to have the liability of the first person saying, well, you took my idea, gave it to somebody else, and had them create this. You know what I mean? Even though there's
God damn
zero
it,
grounds for that. So there's
Richard, you just made it sound so good. You just made it. No, like, that makes sense.
you know what I mean? So there's I don't really know exactly what the situation is there, but I do know that there's kind of like these edge cases that have been created by people being extremely litigious about stuff. And sometimes it's justified, sometimes it's like, okay, guy, it's like McDonald's suing people for coming up with the idea of having a hamburger joint. It's like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
you know.
No, like you
Yeah.
make a very good point, like because you can't control what people are inspired by, and some things are similar. And like if you deny one person, choose another, that other person can come back and be like, "Hey, you stole it," and it's
Well,
like,
and sometimes you
Didn't
can
that
get
happen with
people
the
who are
Matrix?
kind of
Didn't some
blind
old
about
lady
things.
claim that they stole her idea?
Who
Okay.
did?
I heard that some lady wrote a couple of books, and the Wachowski brothers basically based the Matrix on that, and she tried to
Hmm.
sue them for the rights because it made so much money, but like she
Yeah,
couldn't get anybody to read her damn books.
yeah, and sometimes you'll run into these cases, and you know, I don't know. You know, it's one of those things where it's like I'm not familiar with that story. There has to be like certain, I would say, key indicators of things. You know, there's um, definitely some stuff where I've had like a property that I really enjoyed, like Firefly is a good example. So I
Mhm.
really liked that, but then Razorfist has pointed out that it's basically in a lot of ways it's a totally different story, but it took a lot of things from Star Hunter, which you know is okay. I still like Firefly better, um, but you know when you start looking at it, especially that first issue, or the first the pilot, you're like, oh, you know, there's definitely some things. He definitely took some inspiration from this
Mhm.
and moved on to add in some other things and frankly some more talented actors. But
yeah,
you know, and also I think just more budget and everything else. But
Right.
you know, it's one of those things where the difference between like uh plagiarism and inspiration is attribution, you know, so
Right.
yeah,
There's a lot of
if it
shoulder standing going on in fiction.
yeah, absolutely. And to go back to the previous example, if somebody's like, "Well, I was inspired by they stole my idea," and there are uh, you know, there's really nothing about their concept that was actually taken or that was unique, that transferred over. If you can just say, if both authors say, "Well, I was inspired by Starship Troopers or Helldivers," for example, and one thinks the other one stole from them, and but there's actually nothing that that person had that was really unique, or if it was something that was, you know, not a
yeah. It was
you know
a
what I
twist
mean?
on something else,
Yeah,
basically.
it was a
Yeah,
real
yeah,
obvious twist, you know what I mean? Like we're
yeah,
gonna gender swap somebody or something, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like one of these
yeah,
50-50 kind of changes. Then it's like, you know, but you still have to pay, you still have to go to court potentially, you still have to do all this
Mhm.
other stuff. And so sometimes that's why there's these clauses and things like that where it's like
And
yeah.
we don't want to
we have
get
Vanilla Ice to blame for that. That
yeah, yeah.
baseline was the same baseline. Give me a break.
Curse you, Vanilla Ice. Curse you.
Hey,
No,
can I pitch
that
my
makes
comic book
sense.
character idea? It's probably something already. So
Yeah, somebody's
okay,
gonna sue you now, ChillKid, for like
it's
outing them.
called Magic Merc. Okay, and it's a person whose superpowers only work when they're directly under contract from somebody who basically owns them. They own their contract.
Ooh,
He can't use his powers to intervene in any other way unless it's a direct order given by whoever owns his contract. And the big
Hmm.
twist would be that he's been trying to get freed from his contract, and the only way he can be is if he's fired by somebody who holds his contract, and then he's allowed to use his powers for whatever he wants. So through that, you have a lot of opportunity for character development within that box. But then you have a cool moment where somebody literally just goes, "Hey, you're fired." And it's a big emotional buildup because that's all he's been trying to do the whole time is be freed. And have like a
yeah.
moment where he convinces this cold-hearted person who owns his contract to let him go. And it's kind of a fun moment where you're fired, but it's like actually the best thing that could happen.
I like
But
that for a number of reasons.
and
But
then
continue.
by the time he's able to use his powers, he's developed his character enough that that's meaningful. And it's not just another
Hmm.
Carol Danvers who didn't do anything to earn
Yeah,
it, you
yeah.
know?
You got to earn the powers, man. And so
Yeah.
that reminds me of like
And then they can make
Faustian
fun of him because
bargains.
it sounds like Magic Mike. You know, it's just funny.
Yeah, you gotta Magic Mark. Yeah, yeah. It's marketable as hell. So it's like a Faustian bargain mixed with the genie of the lamp, which I
Yeah, I
dig.
suppose. Yeah.
I
Hmm.
dig that. Yeah, yeah. No, it's a good take because like the contract is I mean, the genie has like the shackles or whatever, but it's really just kind of like a verbal exchange that happens right when you first summon him or whatever. But like a contract with like fine print, this is what you're using me for. There's so many more like chances for like drama because it's like there's even more rules involved. You know what I mean?
And you have situations where he has to figure out how to solve the situation without using his powers. So there's a lot of cool trade-offs where he still has to be a person who's developing as the story progresses. And then you could also do some sort of ritual that gets repeated where the contract isn't just a piece of paper, but there's some special thing that has to be done, and it becomes like an image, like, oh, when that thing occurs, we're switching contract holders, you know? So some sort of blood thing or a wax seal. Or do you remember in Spirited Away when she actually peels the girl's name off of the contract and takes her name from her? Something magical that is involved, you know, that is memorable. So when it happens, it's a theme. And you go, oh yeah, that's a callback to earlier. And you know, just thought that was a fun idea, but I don't think I'm ever gonna get a chance to develop it. You know, I barely have time to take a shower and do my laundry.
Well,
I do those things, just so everyone knows.
I do as well. And maybe we can get.
Oh my god!
Maybe we can get somebody in the Iron Age to get your dude together.
I should do a live stream where I literally just give up story ideas, and anybody who wants it can claim it, but they have to like specifically, okay, that person gets to do that idea.
You know, Richard,
I've got too many ideas and not nearly enough time to do any of it.
Richard kind of does this weekly with the prompts, so
that's true. Yeah,
I'm gonna adjust the.
Every one of those prompts, I try to always get something that I'm like, that's neat. That makes me think of something. You know what I mean?
Would you consider doing guest prompts, like having different figures within the orbit of Anvil? Like, oh, this week's prompt is going to be from so and so. You know, not just I'm just going to toss a name out there. ChillKid.
Nah. Well, I mean, I've used.
If you don't want to, you just say no. It's fine. I'm not.
No. I've had like Sword Rush do a couple of who's one of my mods, an acquaintance of mine in real life. He's done some of the prompts, like he did some of the prompts back in October, actually. Just because he's at the time he was really tinkering around with things, and just to see what he could get out of Mid Journey. And so,
cool.
You know, he did a couple of those, and then there's been a few others, I think, where occasionally it's like, holy smokes, it's Tuesday night, I have no ideas. What do we have here? And you know, he might have something that he's been tinkering around with, and he found something that just came out of the algorithm that looked cool, but you know, he didn't have any use for it, so we would toss that up there. But yeah, I'm not opposed to it. You know, I originally had kind of wanted to start doing the art prompts so that people could send in their art to the text prompts, and then I could in turn use those art prompts for story prompts. But I never really hit critical mass on the artist side of things. So, you know, it's just kind of one of those ones. But yeah, people have talked about trying, like, I think Jake talked to me at one point in time about like, what if there's like a music snippet or something like that, and you like evoke an emotion, you write a story for that. That could be cool. It's just, you know, part of the thing that I've been doing is, or part of what originally started them was, you know, here's an image, and you know, for better or worse, people, you're always after eyeballs because that's the easiest way to get attention. So
yeah.
I
like that better than the posts on X. Like, there's just so much garbage posts on there where it's like, it's a picture and they're like, what is she doing? Or what is he thinking right now? And it's like, you got 300 people commenting. I'm like,
well, but it works. That's the thing. You know, it's kind of like a lot of things these days that I want to be like, why do they do this? You know, why do people do this? Why do they do that? And it's like, well, because it works for them. You know,
deliberate
what I mean? It's successful.
Typos. Where people put typos in their thumbnail on purpose.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, there's gonna be at least 40 comments about how you spelled that wrong.
Yeah, that's why.
It's pretty smart.
Yeah.
Like, Black conservative perspective, I love him, but he's definitely getting coached by traffic coaches who tell him to like deliberately, consistently mispronounce names. Like, The kind of
Oh, really?
pronunciation where like that's not a mistake. You had to like misinterpret that name, and people comment, "Oh, that's not how you say Kamala," or Kamala.
Yeah, you get that. But
It's
like Richard said,
smart, but
it
it's
freaking
annoying if
works.
you know it once you see it.
Real quick, I am going to go back and address the chat. So JVP says lots of movies for DBZ. Check out Dead Zone, which I agree. That one is fantastic, JVP. I can't stress that enough. Great stuff. He also can't wait for Paladin Dragoon stuff. Good. It's really good. Paladin Dragoon says they are puritanical priests, not paladins, which we've discussed off stream before, which that's awesome. He tried to write it at an 8th grade level, so all ages type stuff here. B.A. Turner says, hail jabronis. Cinemodium says, hey, evening AC. Good evening, guys. And Timo says, howdy, boys. Howdy, Timo. And then Paladin Dragoon, of course, went to bed because he has to write.
Hey.
Just wanted to catch up on those.
Not a bad plan.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm really excited for the future of Anvil and like the Iron Age. I'm just about to go through and do my Snyder cut. Once I catch up with some stuff here, I just got hired to do Jared Christman's poster for his movie. And
awesome.
I've been doing some
I'm
stuff
excited
for that.
about that. Talk about
I'm
excited to see that, and also Rogue Elements is supposed to be coming out here before too long, which that's Critical Drinkers. Is it Ryan Drake? I'm trying to remember what the character's name is, but it's he's been writing that series for quite a long while, and so I think that'd be really cool.
That's awesome.
I agree.
See some more things. I was initially trying to do the let's break into doing game jams and some video game design, but I sort of think that's already a saturated market. There's already a lot of little indie places for people to do that kind of thing. So I'm waiting for somebody else to jump on that.
Yeah, hopefully somebody does.
Yep.
Real quick, we got JVP. Yes, Ryan Drake.
Yeah.
Here
I
we
thought
go.
that was correct.
That reminds me of Uncharted.
I read a lot of different characters, so sometimes my brain turns to mush whenever I'm trying to pull something specific out of my head.
I think I would get that confused with Uncharted pretty
yeah,
often.
I almost said Nathan Drake.
It's over, Drake.
Nathan Drake, yeah. Talk about, didn't they do an Uncharted movie that was just a bust?
I watched it, and if I hadn't played the games, it would have been a fun movie because I'm like Mark Wahlberg. I like little Spider-Man guy. I forgot his name, but he is very likable, right? So I didn't hate it, but I did hate that they called it Uncharted because it just seemed like, it seems like they just took the names of the characters and just plugged people in without caring at all if they were anything like the games, which I know that sounds like a broken record at this point, but fun movie. It wasn't Uncharted, but it was fun. There was a lot of scheming and double crossing, and it was a fun little movie.
Yeah,
but
and sometimes fun movies are, they do the trick.
Yeah, but the set pieces, they didn't really fit. I mean, I think they tried to tie some of it to some scenes in the games, but it was mainly like the last game where they pulled stuff from it, looked like. But it didn't feel like I was doing anything remotely related to Uncharted itself. So that's where it's got kind of frustrating because I really, really deeply enjoy those games. Because they're just the pacing is really well put together, and how they solve riddles and stuff like that is pretty interesting. So, yeah, but I didn't hate it.
I've not seen it. I'm like, I've been seeing some of these like posts about movies and stuff like that recently, and I'm like, man, I kind of stopped watching movies after about 2010, 2012. I have not seen very many movies at all in that time period. Like I just watch old stuff, and it's usually better. So I'm hoping that as indies start breaking into the entertainment side of of film rather than like the art house side, which don't get me wrong, there's a place for art house films and stuff like that. Okay, but that never appealed to me, and so I'm hoping that some more you kind of like the low budget um horror films of like the 80s and whatnot. Some of that stuff kind of starts coming back and we start getting some awesome stuff. Maybe not horror, maybe who knows what genre it is, but something that's just fun.
Mhm.
Like
You know,
the
I saw
westerns,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would love
Yeah.
to see more westerns coming out.
yeah.
You know what? On that note, have you guys seen 310 to Yuma?
Yes,
Yes.
very good.
Isn't that a fantastic like Western movie? Like all the
Mhm.
characters made sense. Like didn't seem to be very much wasted in how they put together the screenplay. It's a really compelling movie. You
The
know,
setting
great
is
character development. I love Russell Crowe in that.
the setting was just like a road and like a old town and then like a train car, right? That
Mhm.
was basically
I
it.
mean, I would say their locations were a little bit less simple than that, but I mean, you're all right. They did
Yeah.
let the acting do the talking, but they definitely didn't spare on the locations for sure.
Well, right. It was fantastic stuff, but yeah, my whole point though, like, is they were able to do a whole movie, like, just
Right.
just on that idea, like point
They
A,
didn't have
point
to
B.
globetrot to like, oh
Yeah.
look, it's a
Mhm.
big movie. Look, they found the bullshit device that we don't know why we need it. Yeah. Like we're going
Mhm.
from place to place to place, like in Star Wars. No, you're right. It was very simple. The location choice.
Yeah, no Mission Impossible. Yeah.
Well,
Or
I'd
Die
say
Hard.
Mission Impossible uses their locations pretty well, but like with Star Wars, where they're like, we've gone to how many galaxies to find this thing that we
Yeah.
don't know why we need to go to the next thing, which we could have sidestepped because you already know how to do the thing. Like,
Yeah.
this is just
Yeah.
you're just trying to distract me to show me that to keep me from thinking about how bad this story is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my thing is with I'm also kind of hoping that with the boom in a lot of the smaller filmmaking type stuff on just like YouTube studios and stuff like that, that some of the uh, pricing for like film licensing and stuff like that starts coming down a little bit because
Mhm.
there are significant costs associated even if you have the equipment and everything else, just like getting permits and stuff costs quite a bit of money to really do a proper film. And
Mhm.
it's those kinds of like barriers to entry that I hope can kind of get knocked down um in the
That's a
coming
good point.
years.
I think that we're gonna have an adjustment period because
Yeah,
movies have
absolutely.
just gotten more and more and more expensive. Everybody has to adjust their expectations. Like states that want people to come in and film movies in their state, like Georgia, and I think there's a lot of places in Canada that seem to like that revenue. They're gonna have to get used to the idea that we're not gonna be bagging millions of dollars per location now. Like the way things are going, it's just it's like a Jenga tower that too many pieces got taken out of the bottom. And
Yeah.
so like the person that hands you a sandwich can't have a full like a a
Oh,
full-time
yeah.
income. They can't be making 60 grand to put some toothpicks and some cucumber.
Yeah, you're
So
gonna have to make your own sandwich.
yeah. Or
Yeah.
like just tagging names on that had nothing to do with the movie. Executive producer.
Mhm.
Like, come on. Like how many
Yeah.
producers really showed up and did the work? I guarantee you, the big names at the beginning paid to get their name on there. And then there's like a handful of people who really worked, really, really worked hard.
I got two thoughts on this real quick, and like the first one is there's actually like 1 to 3 companies, or you can call like sectors of where all the money is, that just like controls everything. Like one of them is like BlackRock, Vanguard, and another one is Hollywood. There's so much money that's pushed through like Hollywood in general. Like think of how California itself has enough of an economy to be in its own country. It's like
Yeah.
Mhm.
by far the highest, like one, you know what I mean? It's like very
That's a
high up
great
there with,
idea. They should be.
well, you know what I mean. And the other thing is the AI video that I brought up earlier. What that's going to
Mhm.
do is it's going to give indies access to CGI. That's what it's going to do,
Mhm.
because you can still make all the old traditional stuff, but like now, for example, Jared Chrisman with his western, that his low budget western, he can actually have like a crazy horse chase scene with a train that he couldn't like dump money into before, because just
as long as it doesn't confuse and put like 9 legs on the horse.
Yeah.
Well,
and
you can also
cut. You can edit. Yeah.
Right. That's a good
Yeah.
point. I saw it in interesting music videos done like that.
Yeah, and
Go ahead,
also
Richard.
drone cameras are crazy now.
100%.
It's crazy good. So you could never. I mean, people talk about whatever, but if we just want to get them on a horse riding, and with like a nice stable drone shot, along a train track,
Yeah.
like you're already a good amount there, and then you start CGing and things. Either with more traditional effects like Unreal or something, or if you want to do a blend. I mean, and that's the other thing is AI is coming into the ecosystem regardless. You don't have to tell it, hey, I want a train here. It's like you just start laying in a train, and you're like, all right, we want people in the train looking out the window, and it'll start putting together simple stuff like that.
Yeah.
And not even simple stuff. That's actually pretty complicated, So it's one of those things where I definitely see how it's a double-edged sword, but I hope that indies are willing to, like, it's coming either way. I just hope that some indies are willing to take up the other edge and push back with it. Make the best of it.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, at this point, the thing that I would like to see the most, and I know this might be a little out there, but there was a discussion on the special effects guys. I forgot what their name of their channel is, but these guys that talk about different special effects, I think it's like Corridor FX or something like that. But they talked about Godzilla. I think it was 1999 or what year did that Godzilla movie with Matthew Broderick come out?
That was 99, I think.
Okay. So the big thing with that is they were showing these special effects shots that were breathtakingly amazing, way better than anything we've seen recently. And they were just talking about the process of compositing. Like it was just good enough that you could composite with practical effects. And I'm realizing the cost of a lot of that stuff is so much less than it was in 1999 that I would like to see people just putting in the work like George Lucas and Spielberg were when they were just college students, like that kind of movie making can be amazing. And a lot of people are just copping out and saying they don't want to try it, but they were coming up with ways to crowdfund their movies, early on and making these amazing things happen on actual film, which we have so many tools now that would make that an incredibly easy process to get back into practical mixed with the early CG.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that's what Christopher Moonlight is doing with his I think it's like Escape from Omega 12. No, that's not right. Planet Omega. No, Omega 12 is like a vitamin, right? Crud. But he has a article about movie making. The one man film producer, and he put that out like a year ago talking about this kind of thing, and it was very prescient. I can't find it immediately. Let me see here. The one man film crew. That's what it is.
Can you post a link?
Yeah, I'll drop a link in there.
I'll put it on my watch later list.
There you go. It's in the private chat. So
I will post that quick. Let me see. Copy.
I need to save it so that I remember to look at it. Oh, okay. It's on Iron Age Media. Okay.
It is Richard. Escape from Planet Omega 12. Okay, I was like, okay, so what is the vitamin? Is it Omega 12? Hold on. Now I have this problem.
No, yeah, you're right. Omega 12s, that is a type of vitamin. I think it's like a supplement that you can get from like fish and stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's not Omega 12. Anyway, never
I think
mind.
You can also get that in flaxseed.
This is not good content.
I beg to differ. This is great content. Look at these beards, man. You can't beat that.
There you go. Yeah. This one's going to get trimmed back here pretty soon. I've got too much
Hang on 1 second.
Excess fuzz going on. the gesture of being summoned from afar.
Yeah, you gotta love it. I'm actually we should go around and tell everybody where they can find us. And because I know you're running low on time, Richard, you got a meeting after this or something. And I know ChillKid
No,
works.
but I do need to wrap some things up that I kind of pushed off, and I was like, oh no. So yeah, it's one of those ones where always got something that I'm like, oh no. One day I'll get ahead. But
Katie has a message too. She's actually here right now. Here, want to tell him?
Hey guys, I'm on the other side of the desk, but doing something. We had a few things come up that I had to take care of, so I'm actually really bummed because I was looking forward to streaming with both of you. So we'll have to do it again if you guys want to come back, and when we have more time, it'd be awesome.
Out of the question. No way.
This is out of the question.
Fuck yo.
Unlike Chill,
Fine then.
I will come.
Richard said
I'd love to. That'd be cool.
Awesome.
Okay, ChillKid relented. He said,
Thanks, ChillKid.
She says thanks.
I just want to be just like Richard, so I'll just do whatever he does.
I don't know if it's a good policy.
So why don't we start with Richard? Where can everybody find you, buddy?
At ironage.media for articles and writing prompts and all sorts of things going on over there. My various socials for X and YouTube, and also I think Instagram is up there. Also run a Gilded server. If you want to get in on that, just shoot me an email or a DM. And then if you want to get your hands on First Strike or anvilmagazine.com, which would be like there's issue 1 and then there's issue 3 and issue number 2 is right there. But if you want to get your hands on those, check out anvilmagazine.com. And yeah, that should just about cover it.
Hell yeah. Thanks for coming on, man. And ChillKid, where can everybody chill with you?
Well, if you're looking for me, you can check under the sea. That is where you'll find me, underneath the Sea Lab. Sorry, just kidding.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, honestly, I need to set up a web page. I've been trying to for a while, but in general, you can find me on X. I think I'm the real ChillKid, something like that. You'll definitely, if you find Richard and AC on there, you'll find my stuff. But I'm also on Bandcamp, Spotify, YouTube. So yeah, just look for the logo. Because there's a couple other people with the same name, and I'm trying to get in touch with them. I want to find everybody who also goes by ChillKid and do like a dual release with. There's a bunch of rappers and stuff.
Dude, so I thought you were gonna say a duel
that I know of.
Duel.
I want to get in touch with them and be like, hey, dude, let's do ChillKid and ChillKid. Come on, wouldn't that be so much fun?
No, you gotta duel them. You gotta duel them.
Oh, actually, with like fencing or something.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. But yeah. Yeah, if you just look for my music on there, you should find me on basically the major platforms. I don't know why I developed a Joe Biden stutter just a second ago, but here we go.
We all eventually get that when we turn 200. But I mean, you're not 200.
Getting there. 39.
Yeah.
That's basically the same thing. So
I'm gonna go ahead and toss you guys' stuff in the chat here. That's what I just did. Boom, there it is.
I'm also looking for a manager. If anybody is interested in manage me, I'll I'm willing to do all the work. I just have no idea how. So
well, Katie knows a thing or two about that. Maybe she can do something. But I know
I'm down like a clown. Let's go.
We're all busy these days is the thing. So yeah,
that's
like
true.
we can talk. We can figure something out. But like if there is a manager out there, I'm sure the Iron Age could actually use
I need a fill to my sector.
You ought to talk to Iron Age marketing, old Nikki Picone.
Okay.
He's
actually
he's a good resource.
Actually, I just want Kahuna to be my manager. Kahuna, will you be my manager?
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. You could do some awesome promo videos for sure.
The guy's amazing. The best. Like legit, one of the nicest person I've met in over a year.
Good hype.
Like, he's just a great guy.
He's a good hype man.
For sure.
He is. He's working on his own story too, guys. By the way,
Awesome.
He
awesome,
will be
man.
he will be joining the knighthood of authorship pretty soon.
Like there's a
when he
couple
gets
of
around to
people
it.
that I've met recently that are truly irreplaceable in my life, and Kahuna is definitely one of them for sure.
Oh, dude, I agree. Actually, 100%.
Like if you're ever down, like he's the first person. I don't want to like. This is why I'm wearing sunglasses. I don't want to get too choked up, but like, there's been a couple times I've been really down, and he knew, and he just knew when to message me and what to say. So
Yeah,
what's up,
dude.
Rito?
I have to say, Evole has that power too.
Yeah,
both Kahuna
definitely.
and
He's
Evole,
awesome.
Yeah, they have like this weird, what is it called? Radar? Yeah, that's the word. Radar. They have a radar. Yeah.
Readout bought a towel. Oh, you got the towel. Awesome. See, this is one of the cool things about running all my own stuff is that he had mentioned he wanted a towel with ChillKid stuff on it. And so I just like literally while we were talking about it, went and made the thing in my spring store and then posted it. So yeah, that's
Nice.
It's fun to be able to just make things on the fly for the people who need it. That's what I want to do. If somebody needs something, I want to be able to provide it.
The future's Iron Age. The future's indie. Like,
I'm in.
Man, it's crazy. Thanks for coming on, guys. Everybody can find me on X as well at @A_C_Pritchard. You can find me on Substack, which I suggest ChillKid. It's actually getting better by the day from what I've seen. Once you understand it too, I could actually teach you. It's a good home base. You could put all your music there, images, articles,
Substack?
you can write things, whatever. It's a good home base. But
Awesome.
acpritchard.substack.com for free spirit animals content. Each episode is like a little novella, and it's an ongoing series that I don't plan to stop anytime soon. We got Royce from A Drink with Crazy doing the voice of Durham, the bounded character who has a giant ibex. So he has a goat, essentially.
I was like, I know that animal.
Yes.
Real quick, can I plug Black Knight on Substack?
Plug Black Knight on Substack. Do it. Yeah.
I've started calling him Machinata, which is in his language, that's the machine. And that's him. Like he's been putting out story after like just constant content. The guy is unreal as far as his work ethic. So if you get a chance to check him out too, please do, because the man is unbeatable. It's impossible to keep up with how much stuff he's able to put out, and it's good quality stuff. So
I agree, and that's the other thing about Substack. When I went and uploaded all the Pritchard Pub stuff, I was actually able to like link him. So like people who appear in podcasts, and Richard, you guys could probably do this with like Iron Age Nights and stuff too. If anybody ever decides to like put it all on like a Substack or distribute it places, like I was able to like link with his Substack, and it's like a nice little shout out type thing.
Yeah, there's more things going on over at Substack. I haven't really checked it out, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of good resources there.
Yeah. But
I've been all my Substack time is usually spent like reading Glenn Greenwald's stuff there. So it's a pretty cool medium, but it's hard to keep up with everything.
You should send me yours. I'll follow you with everything I can. I think I have. I don't know if it follows by the publication or by the account, but I'll follow you nonetheless and recommend you if you got anything there. If you start building it or whatever, just let me know. Cool. The other Substack, other than the Free Spirit Animals, is Pritchard Pub itself, which is simply pritchardpub.substack.com. That's where all the masters go for free download after hearing it and watching it here. And paid subs get access to, and they're the only people who get the first audiobook I ever released, and it's the first story for the first book I ever released. So I'm proud to offer that as early access content for people over there until it's all done, and until we develop it into something more substantial that we can just give constantly. I mean, like I'm getting better with video content every day, so who knows what the future holds. Maybe I'll like offer my discography and stuff. I should do that, actually. I should put that up there, and just here's my discography for paid subs. But anyway, I'm actually going to do that for sure.
I got one more thing once you're done.
Yeah, do it.
So,
and then we'll call
Richard, I fixed my problem with the connection. Have you noticed
Oh,
this
good.
has gone way better than the last time?
Yes,
I
yes.
drilled a hole in the studio wall to run an actual Ethernet cable into the studio.
Dude,
So
there you
it's
go.
plugged directly in now. Yeah.
Dude. And what ChillKid's talking about right now is back when we were doing a bunch of meetings for the first Strike album with Tempered
Oh
Records.
yeah, it was terrible because it was
Dude.
like I wanted to know what you were saying, ChillKid, but you'd be like, you would just freeze, and I was like, "Is he being quiet?" No, okay, he's frozen. Okay,
I was so miserable. I was looking forward to that for days. It was like the thing that I was holding on to. And I get in there and I'm just like, I'm that guy right now. I'm the guy like anchoring the whole thing down.
No,
It made me feel so
good.
bad because you guys were just rolling and everybody was having a great time.
It was good. It was good. That's good memories to reminisce on, you know. And
yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to forget as soon as possible, but I appreciate it. Yeah.
Kahuna says we need a behind the scenes documentary.
Yeah, I mean, at least you didn't deafen anybody with grinding and running an angle grinder in the background and forget to mute like Royce did. So.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. Is that why he bailed? Is that why he bailed on the project? Because he was just
that was about the time.
Yeah, he was just real busy. Had a lot of things going on.
Okay.
And
I was joking.
One of them was the Uber smoker that he has now.
Yeah. It is difficult for guys that I know that are high achievers have a hard time saying no to projects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I have noticed that they take on everything that they can, and then they have to cut back afterwards.
I feel attacked.
Yeah, I
mean it in a good way, though.
That, but I get close to it.
Yeah.
Right. All right. I really appreciate you asking me on, man. Thank you.
Hey, yeah. Thanks for coming, guys. Let me play this outro here, and then we'll have a good night. Thanks for everybody listening. Welcome to the Pritchard Pub. Sub if you haven't yet. Thanks for coming.